Welcome back to my YouTube. Is that corny? Our intro's corny, I don't know, but get ready with me for the strip club. And while I get ready, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. I don't use primer. I don't believe in primer. I don't really think it does anything. I think a proper moisturizer does just as good. I also haven't been a big sponge girl. I've been more into brushes. Thank you, Mr. Michael, for the brushes, if anyone knows who that is. Let's start with some contour. I'm going to be using the Patrick Top It Cosmetics brush. This is the shade She's Sculpted. I grew up in Long Island, New York, Huntington, if anyone knows where that is. I have an older brother who is my full brother. My parents split up when I was a baby, and my dad actually got another woman pregnant, even though it caused a lot of trauma in my mother's, my brother's, and I's life. I wouldn't change anything for the world because I love my sisters so much. There's always good in the bad. Growing up, I was picked on. I remember in preschool being picked on for being too girly, and then me and that girl in preschool were making out in my room. I remember that. She was my bully, and we were also low-key dating on the side. That's how I knew I was bisexual, which is another journey that I went through very young. So pretty mischievous. I told a boy that he was sexy, and my mom had to go to the school and talk to me and tell me that I cannot tell boys that they're sexy. We're gonna do blush next. This I do like to use a sponge for. Changes colors. When I wet it, it was blue. e.l.f. putty blush in Bahamas. I love these putty blushes. I grew up with a single mother raising me my entire life. I don't remember when my dad was home. He always lived 30 minutes away, so I went to see him every weekend. I remember hysterically crying 90% of the time when I was there because his household wasn't necessarily the most healthy, pretty toxic. I always just wanted to be with my mom, and my mom worked most of the time. She only had Sundays off. I learned how to grow up very quickly with the resources that I was given. Luminous Silk. I put them together. This is a foundation, this is a concealer, but I like to mix them because this is a little too orange and this one is a little too light for me right now. My mom was also a hairdresser. My mom was also beautiful. My mom had quite a few boyfriends that we lived with. I mean, there was two main ones. There was Jim and Billy. Jim was on and off. He was really boring. His son definitely asked me to look at his dingling one time on vacation when we were kids. A little traumatized from that. Other than that, he was cool. Billy though, we lived with Billy at one point. He was severely abusive on steroids. I had the worst schizophrenia when I was a kid living there. I would hallucinate that my TV was talking to me. I would hallucinate tornadoes. Tornadoes in Long Island, New York, not happening. I just knew something was going on with my mom, and she never told me she was getting abused. I just had a gut feeling as a kid. A few days before Christmas, I hear screaming outside. I check on my mom, her and Billy over there screaming, and I go back outside again. Her arm's broken. Literally broken. He broke her arm, and I just remember crying hysterically, grabbing my mom's stuff. I remember grabbing her bras and just holding them for her, and we're like, we gotta go. We don't have a place to go. We're homeless. Where are we gonna go? Thank goodness my mom has a lot of siblings, and one of her brothers, Peter, housed us in his basement for I think over a year until my mom can get back on her feet and we could figure out where we're going to live, what we're going to do. And I remember that time in my life being one of the most peaceful, finally getting away from that awful human being that was abusing my mom. Billy had two sons that were my stepbrothers because my mom and Billy did end up getting married. One of my stepbrothers even put his hands on me and tried to strangle me in the basement. I have had to go to many therapy sessions to get through that PTSD. My Aunt Susie owned my grandmother's house. It was a farmhouse on 10 acres in Long Island, which is insane. My grandparents owned a beautiful stable and it was still in the family. So my mom and Jim, after Billy, my mom and Jim got back together and they bought the house from my Aunt Susie because my Aunt Susie was moving to Connecticut, and then I lived in my mom's childhood home. I went to my mom's high school. I am my mother. Also, I blend the shit out of all my makeup. I think that's the key to wearing less makeup of making it look natural, is just blending until it's seamless with your skin. We were living there. It was kind of shitty because Jim was there and whatever. He was boring as shit and would make me watch weird movies and weird languages because he was just so intellectual and so cool. He was rich. He took us on some cool vacations. I liked Jim. He still loves my mom to this day. He would take her back any day. Middle school was pretty cool. I got my core set of best friends: Sabrina, Dana, Michaela, Julia, and Bryn. We're nearing into high school and I ended up talking to this kid named AJ, and this was the first time that I really was into a guy like that. It never piqued my interest. I was more into making weird videos on YouTube. The Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Literally peeing on me. That's gonna take a second. So I meet this kid, AJ, at homecoming. Instantly love him. Obviously it's puppy love, it's kid love. First time I had the I remember when he told me he couldn't talk to me anymore after 2 weeks, I thought I was actually gonna slit my wrist. Like, I can't cap to you. I was a little mentally ill, and I'm sorry, AJ. I am so sorry. That fiasco happened. That was my 8th grade summer going into 9th grade. I'm still a virgin, y'all. I didn't lose my virginity until 9th grade. We'll get there. New powder puff. Elf one is the best. Oh, actually, I don't even use a powder puff anymore. I use the brushes, duh. To set my face, I'm using the Huda Beauty powder in Peach Pie. So I'm heartbroken about AJ, whatever. Michaela takes me to a thing at the high school. I don't know. They used to always throw little parties at the high school to get the kids together. It was like a community thing. It was cute. And all of the alumni are there, like the guys that just graduated, which obviously red flag, but I don't know that at 14. I think that's awesome. They have cars. They're in college. I want to freaking be in their car. I want to go where they're going, have free alcohol. I want to party, you know? Young and turned. I don't even know if I was cute yet. I was a little awkward still. I meet this kid named James. He is definitely over 21. I'm 14. He really likes me. He gets really fond of me. And this is the first experience I've ever had of a man borderline stalking me. Now that I think about it, he was a pedophile. In the beginning, it was sweet, it was cute. He wanted to hang out with me. I was like, cool, we can go hang out in your car, drive around. You can eat my box in the back of your car. Literally, that's all that was, and like move on. He had a ginormous schlong. Like, I didn't do anything further than that. We didn't go all home run. One day I just told him like, hey, actually, I can't talk to you anymore. I'm getting creepy feelings. I also found out that he was doing stuff with my homegirl Lana, rest in peace, baby. But I found out it was a lot. It wasn't just, he was being creepy and everyone else was noticing but me. I go to after school because I want to go hang out with a different boy, whatever. And he says, he's like, you didn't go home. I used to walk home. He's like, I saw you didn't walk home. And I was like, why are you watching me coming home from school? I am 14. What is going on? And I would leave school all the time, tell him I don't need a ride home, and I would see his car pass. One of his homies, Connor, pulls up to headquarters. That's what we would call the spot at the mall. I'm gonna use the one that's in the Patrick Top. He knew it was creepy that I was young. I mean, they all the guys were kind of creepy. Even Connor, low-key, like, I knew he liked me too, but he didn't do any advances on me. And he pulls up to HQ and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Leave this girl alone. I'm literally gonna beat you up. Mind you, Connor is literally this big. He is the scrawniest, littlest white boy in the world. He's like, I'm gonna beat you up. And James is a tall, light-skinned man. They tussle at headquarters about me. I'm just there like, I'm 14, bruh. Y'all grown as fuck fighting over me? Over me? I said this shit a movie. James tried to give me his grandma's ring and was like, I want you to be with me forever. I was like, bro, forever? Got to go. You're creepy as fuck. He hit me up like a few years ago. I have to do a little brown wing, but I can't talk while I do a wing. The better than sex. Like, are you telling me I'm not eating right now? One of the best liquid liners ever. Pretty good to me. The hoes in the club are not gonna see it, to be honest. They're not looking at my eyeliner. I'm doing this just so I can talk to y'all. James, why does his name sound weird now when I say it? That whole James fiasco ends. MAC mineralized skin finish in soft and gentle. Literally gorgeous. But I end up talking to this kid named Elvin, who is the kid I lose my virginity to, which I will tell you the story about that right now. He's a senior, I'm a freshman. I think I'm the shit. Clearly there's a pattern with me. I like older men. He asked me to be his girlfriend at Tropical Smoothie. He just like looks across, he bought me a smoothie. He's like, will you be my girlfriend? I'm like, sure. I don't know what that entails. I think I met his mom once, which was really weird. And then I was his girlfriend, supposedly, even though we would just kiss in the hallway and then he'd be like, bye. Some high school shit, you know? I lost my virginity in the back of his BMW. I bled all over the back of it, stained it. I don't know why he decided to do that. You're older than me, figure it out. Use your freaking brain. Don't have a brain, only thought with it down there. I had a dream that he literally set me on fire and said, I'm cheating on you. Next day, walked up to me, went with a lighter, and said, I'm cheating on you, I'm breaking up with you, and walked away. I was like, okay. I was like, I prepared for this because I had a dream about it. I was like, you didn't know, but I already knew. Elvin was over with. I'm talking to AJ's sister in my art class, the one that I was obsessed with in middle school. I ended up really close with her. She was also close with like the James Connor. I'm gonna do this one. We're also gonna do her hair, so don't worry. She has a friend named Steven who needs someone to go to the prom with him. I'm also like in the friend group now, and I decide that I'm gonna go to prom with him. It's cool. I'm going to senior prom. I'm a freshman. I think I'm the shit. I also think I'm so cool because I'm like friends with AJ's sister, and AJ fucking hates me and thinks I'm so weird for being at their house, which is so weird. Actually should have like a pick-me girl was me. Becoming best friends with a person you love sister just so you can see him sometimes actually locked me away. So sorry. I'm so sorry, AJ. I'm so sorry, Amanda. I was so weird. Somewhere in all of this, I became a raging stoner. Get to prom. I completely black out at the after prom party. Make out with AJ's cousin, and I supposedly have a boyfriend named Dylan at the time, and I don't remember. I'm dating this guy named Dylan, but I think he's also talking to this girl named Sophia. So it was a big mess. I peed the bed prom night, blamed it on the dog. Really thought that I would get away with that. No, we knew it was you. We knew it was you, drunk girl. It's okay, it's okay. I was a rookie, I was a baby. Somewhere throughout this summer, Alana gets into a really bad car accident. This is the girl who kind of saved me from James. She's the one who told me like, hey, you really shouldn't be talking to him. And she was really close with my best friend, Michaela. Alana gets into a really bad car accident. The car literally runs her over. She goes through the windshield. And that's why I'm so big on buckling your seatbelt. I say it in all my laundry videos, at least I try to. Buckle your damn seatbelt. Okay, my makeup is pretty much done. Let's do our hair now. I'm trying to think what I want to do. I kind of want to do like a, I don't know, like a wavy vibe. Okay, we're veering into sophomore year. I completely burned my bridges with most of my friends because I did what I did at prom, and I'm kind of depressed. I went through this whole awakening of being vegan. I was going through kind of a bad eating disorder. I was going through a few things. Sophomore year, I really started isolating myself. Things were kind of falling apart after freshman year. It was a high and then it got kind of low. Sophomore year, I'm barely going to school. Bryn's barely going to school. I'm like trying to get Bryn to go to school. I'm vegan, surfing a lot. I end up being really introspective and I kind of stopped doing the whole partying. Also never touched hard drugs. I was only hitting the ganj. My mom tells me this Christmas, she gives me a journal and she says we're moving to California. I've been begging my entire life to move to California. We visited a few times, I had to go. Now I'm like, oh, I'm literally not going to school at all. I was sitting in my science class and found out that Alana died. She did not make the coma. Rest in peace, baby girl. And I was like, I'm never showing up to this high school again. You guys all suck. So I ended up being homeschooled and moving to California, and life is pretty peaceful my junior year. I'm really mentally ill. I'm healing from my eating disorder, listening to a lot of Janis Joplin, playing guitar, making music. It was honestly a really wholesome year. I was just such a good kid. And then Bryn moves in our senior year. Dun, dun, dun! And shit goes south, dude. We go crazy. Bryn dyes her hair purple. I do my first Xanax bar, end up going off the deep end with those. We're partying. I'm like linking up with random dudes who are way too old for me. We throw a giant party while my mom is away at one of her boyfriends. Literally the biggest house party. There was helicopters. Cops couldn't even make it up my mom's driveway. Even if they wanted to shut us down, they could not. We had a rager. People were pissing off the top of the roof. My mom actually hated me. The epitome of the worst kid, and decided to go a complete 360, and I don't know what was wrong with me. Mental health at a complete low. Had burn marks all over me from harming myself when I was intoxicated. One day, Bryn gets a comment on her Instagram, hard eyes, from the one and only Stephen Cannon. And that's where shit really goes south. All self-inflicted. We get introduced to the LA nightlife. And we are 17 at this point. I think Bryn is still 17. I think she's turning 18 sooner than me. She's a year older than me. And we end up going to Vegas with him and Lil Xan. And that's when I really got a taste for a life that I do not want to live, to be honest. Like, I had to taste it and to live it to realize that it's not cut out for me. I thought I could make music. I'm making like shitty, terrible music. Think that I'm gonna make it in LA. End up dropping out of high school to move to LA and become a cam girl. I was really inspired by Lena the Plug and Gina Valentina. I don't need to go to school, so I dropped out of high school, moved to LA, and decided to be a cam model. Ended up being a stripper instead. Stripping saved my anxiety when it comes to socializing. Now I have really good people skills. The gel. We're really bad kids, get our tongue pierced, nipples pierced, the whole 9 yards. We did everything, tattoos, like literally everything you could think of to rebel. We did it. I don't even know why we decided to rebel. My mom is literally a saint. Bryn ends up going a different path. Like, she ends up not working with me as much. She gets kind of like caught up in the LA scene, which is really easy to get caught up in. And I'm like grinding, making this money. We kind of have a falling out because we're living in a place but she can't pay the bills. Only I'm paying the bills. She can't come up with the rent, even though like I'm making money and we're working at the same place. So I'm like, girl, you just have to go to work. We have to kind of get on our grind. Kind of broke right now. It doesn't happen, so I kind of kicked her out, which is fucked up of me, to be honest. It definitely took a damper on our friendship. I'm living alone and get really heavy into pills. She was kicked out for maybe 6 months, and then her and these two girls named Geneva and Riri. It's 4 of us living in a studio. I decided to go to my homegirl's house after work. Like, I decided to do something really freaking stupid. Really stupid to get back at my sugar daddy at the time, Alan. And I went to go do it. I was coming back home and this guy comes up behind me and tries to take me, tries to lift me up and literally take me. And I'm on so many pills. Like, I'm already on so much Xanax and he's trying to take me. I'm thick as fuck at the time because I'm eating good off them Xannies. I'm screaming on the top of my lungs. My best friend, Bryn, comes down because we're cool again. God, she's a real one. She's such a real one. And she attacks the man, beats his ass, and rescues me. I decided to go into the apartment, take what, 5 more Xanax? Like, who the frick knows? This is when Xanax were real, so you can really take a bunch and not worry about dying. The police came, I would not wake up. I was unconscious. Duh, I was in a fucking Xan coma. It was just cute. After I almost got taken, I decided to break my lease and move the hell out of LA, because clearly it was not working for me. I didn't even last a year. This is Anastasia chai. Fenty Beauty hot chocolate heat. Guys, I did my whole makeup routine. Do you want a part 2? Because where did we end? I broke my lease and I'm moving back home. We got a little more to go. Bye.